For once in my life, I'm sitting here. Hi!
Hi.
Hello, everybody, and hi! And I feel like a a buffoon. I have some poems for you guys. The first poem is the first poem in this book, which talks about women's issues and life and death issues. The cool thing about it is that some of the poems in here also have Slovak translations of the poems. So if you know anybody who can speak Slovak, I'd really love to hear how some of my poems sound in Slovak, because I've got the translations here. This is a proof copy. If anybody wants to buy this off of me, $5 and it's yours. And I'd love to give it away. But this is the first poem that is in it, and it is called Whiteknuckled. The hot air was sticking to her skin, almost pulling, tugging at her very flesh as she walked outside down the stairs from the train station. Just then a breeze, hot and sticky, hit her in just the wrong way, brushed against her lower neck, and she felt his breath again. Not his breath when he raped her, just his stench. Hot, rank, when he was just near her. Her breath quickened, like the catch of her breath after she's just stopped crying. All the emotion is there, not going away. She walks to the bottom of those stairs, railing, white-knuckled by those small, tender hands, the hands of a child, and that 90-degree graze suddenly gives her a chill. They say when you get a chill, it means a goose walked over your grave. She knows better. She knows that it is him walking, and that he trapped that child in that grave. Yeah. So I get your emotional starting ones. This next poem is a poem that I also happen to be the editor of a literary magazine. This is a proof copy of the upcoming issue, which is released in August. CC&D magazine, if anybody has prose or poems and they want to send it my way to be considered to be appearing online as well as in an Amazon book, come and let me know. This poem that I'm reading is actually an assignment poem from at the time, Georgetown Poetry Plus open mic. Mike Jones there, who is one of the hosts of it, would set up assignments. You get a piece of paper, oh, there's a theme. If you've got something on it, do this on a theme. And this is something that I did on the first times I was there. What he was explaining about the open mic is that the coffee shop that once had it could no longer support them, and so they would have been on hiatus until August, when they might tentatively be at a library on Saturdays. So I said, well, just so that it doesn't die out for that month or whatever, have it at my house. We did it on the 8th. It was fun and cool. Thank you guys for showing up. And it's going to be there this Friday as well. So if anybody wants to know about coming by for round robin poems with the likes of Tom and Brian and Mike and myself and anybody else who wants to come by, because I really like it, that would be awesome. This was one of the first things I did on one of the assignment theme poems, and this is called One Who Has Too Much. People may have looked her way and thought, wait a minute. She's had it made all along. She got ahead at work. She's made a ton of money. She traveled around the country. And yeah, they tried to kill her, but after it's over, she found herself a man. Isn't that what it's all about anyway? And then when she was working in the poetry scene, she was actually running something in the poetry scene in one of the biggest cities in the country. And don't you dare tell me it was a second city, because it only shows when the East Coast snob you are and that you don't know a thing about architecture or diversity or caring about your fellow man. So, even though she's been ripped away from her home, I mean, what the hell? She's got everything she materially wants. As they said in the 80s, what's your damage? I wonder what she would say. I'm sure she'd probably say that you might be right, and he was and is the perfect person for me, and it's a shame it took me almost dying to force me to find him. But then she'd think, don't think for a second that I'm the woman who has too much. Sure, we can complain that we lost most of our savings because of the crash after the internet boom, but I lost my soul before then. What do I have too much of? I have too much anger. I have too much angst. I have too much depression, because if you think you have it all, you don't. Well, if you have it all, you can also have what everyone else doesn't want. And you have to live with all that torture all of your life as you look around and wonder why everyone wonders why you look so sad when you seem to have it all. Well, you're right. I do have it all. I have the pain of 1,000 soldiers running toward an enemy they don't understand, being told to kill when it's against their will, but it's their only choice. And even if I didn't see the slaughter, trust me, I went through the recovery that lasted for months, that lasted for years, and I'm still recovering from something that someone else did to me. And for some reason, I have to be the one who always has to atone. Maybe you don't understand because you don't realize what you already have. Because even when you have it all, someone, somewhere, can take apart your body against your will while you try to piece your mind together to make sense out of what you have left. Because I write such depressing stuff, I always have to end with something of a palate cleanser, just something that doesn't sound so bad, but I did a feature. I'm from Chicago. I feel bad I didn't have my Chicago music, and in 2003 I did a bunch of things about dreams, and this was one of the poems I wrote, and it was called The Dream. I walked past a slide, almost stepping on a boulder in a children's marble game. As I stopped at the swing set, I heard two girls talking, slap bracelets, plastic purses, bows in their hair. The blue-eyed blonde said to the brown-eyed brunette, "If you dream that you die, you will." The brown eyes exploded with fear. As I walked away, I stopped and leaned against a jungle gym. The memories bombarded me. Why did I have that dream? Why did I stop myself? Why didn't I die? It was 4 years ago in this dream. I was walking in a field where the brown weeds stood a foot tall and almost entirely covered the wretched abandoned train tracks. The pollution-gray sky occasionally hurled its anger at the ground, making rippling waves in the dead grass and straw. I never asked why I was there. Holding my denim jacket closed with my one hand, I put my left hand in the coat pocket. I felt the cold steel in my hand and pulled the .22 caliber pistol out into the light. The polished silver-gray barrel reflected my fingertips. I never asked why it was there. I stopped walking, switched off the safety, turned the gun to my stomach, wrapped my fingers around the trigger, pressed my eyes shut, and fired twice. But I opened my eyes and stared at the waving weeds as I felt the heat and the force radiate through me. As I stood there, I began to hunch over, and all my senses slowed down. The weeds moved slowly. As I started to walk, my steps became shorter, yet longer to take. Feeling dizzy, I couldn't even think, but I knew it should hurt. This wasn't making any sense, and I waited for the pain, but I just wasn't dying fast enough. So I tried to keep walking, but I felt like I was falling, and I turned the revolver to my stomach again and fired. I felt the jolt. I felt the force. I felt the heat. But it just wasn't working. I just wasn't dying. So I moved the gun to the side of my head. One shot rang out. My ears were ringing slowly but violently. Why wasn't I dying? I shot my temple again, and then once more, walking slowly, now used to the heat and only feeling tired. But then, a voice in my head told me, "Hey, stop this dream." And I woke up. Beads of sweat were dripping from my temple. I tasted them to make sure they weren't blood. I pushed myself away from the jungle gym as I watched the girls on the swing set. The brunette stared at the blonde in innocent amazement. They're all just lies, I thought, and I turned and walked away, kicking the dead grass. Thank you.
got the soundtrack, the Blues Brothers album, at home. And I swear, I won't curse because there are youth here, but it's literally one of the coolest movies in existence.